Hello, Abnormal Investigations. It's good to see everybody, and I've got an encounter for you, but first I want to remind you of something. Coming up this Monday night, we have a special guest coming on. It's going to be at 8 o'clock Monday night. She spent her life living in a home that was a funeral home. Her father was uh, a person that took care of the dead. He was an embalmer and done a lot of that kind of work, which her whole family, it sounds like, done a lot of that work. But with that work came a lot of things that she experienced inside of that home. When you have the funeral home on the first floor and you live on the second floor, you experience a lot of things. That's probably not going to be for everybody, that live, guys. It is going to be a scary one, but it will be Monday night at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. The thumbnail is already out. You can find it on my Facebook page, or you can go to my YouTube page, Abnormal Investigations, go under Lives, and you can find it. It's got a hearse with a casket in it for the thumbnail. Click on it, and leave a comment in there. People usually comment in there. They're starting to do that a lot now before my shows. There's already conversations going on. And you can also click Notify Me at the top after you go into the chat, and it'll make sure maybe you get notified. You should have two chances if it works. But it will be Monday night at 8 o'clock. Come over and join us, chat, and engage with us. As I guarantee you, it's going to be a really, really wild night. And I've talked to her, and some of the stuff that she has already told me, it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. So Monday night's going to be a special night. I've never done one quite like this, and you're not going to want to miss it. So to start off, my name is William, and I live in northeast England, in a small village in the county of Durham. I am 24 years old, and this encounter happened when I was 17. I've had several encounters, but I think this may be the best one, or if you would even call it that. In the summer of 2015, me and my two friends, Jake and Ryan, decided to camp out in the Castle Eden Forest. We took alcohol, and we thought it would be a good idea to also take a Bluetooth speaker with us. We arrived at around 8 o'clock, and it was still light outside, so we decided on a spot and pitched our tents. This area was off track, uphill, and quite the hike, especially since we were carrying our tents, bags, and crates of beer. Nevertheless, we made it unharmed and excited for the night ahead. The first encounter that happened I did not see, but both my friends did. I initially thought they were just trying to freak me out. The area we pitched was flat but surrounded by trees, and two hills. One was at an incline in front of us, and the other was a sheer drop behind us and to the side. We had hiked up the safe way. While I was unzipping my tent bag, both of my friends started cursing, and at first I thought they were arguing. It was in a split second when I realized they were looking up the hill and through the trees. "Did you see that?" Jake looked at me, and I replied by just shaking my head and going back down to unpack my tent. "That was weird as F," Ryan shouted. "What are you talking about?" I asked, thinking nothing of it. My friends confirmed the same thing. When I look back now, I can say they both were spooked, but not so much to send us home. Both my friends recall seeing a big red wolf demon, and that it was both their words, and they agreed on what they saw. And just a side note for a little perspective for the readers, if you decide to publish this, we don't have wolves in the United Kingdom. They described it as best as they could, seeing it from the distance. They said it was red, like a rusty color, with shiny red eyes and a gray face. They said it moved like a dog, but then it hid behind a tree and used arms and hands to peer from behind it, and then it crawled like a man out of their sight. The night went on as usual, with them occasionally mentioning this wolf, and I kept hoping that they were just pretending, because in all honesty it started to freak me out the darker the night got. Sometime around midnight, Jake mentioned the battery for his speaker was low. It was shortly after that when we heard a collection of strange noises, and we could hear the noises over the speaker. So we kind of just sat and listened, looking at each other silently, trying to figure out what it was we were hearing. We heard a low hissing sound at first, and it went on for at least a minute and a half. Then we heard thuds in the distance, followed by snapping twigs. Coincidentally, and I say that with all irony because sounds so cliche, but I assure you it happened. The speaker ran out of battery. I believe my two friends went pale. I believe I also went pale listening to the sounds around us. I felt the blood rush to my face and my chest just locked up, and I was so creeped out I didn't even breathe. I could literally hear my heartbeat in my ears. The hissing turned into a very sharp growl, like high-pitched, but had an immense volume to it. Sorry if this is a bad description of the noise, but the best way I know how to describe it is the noise of an angry house cat. It has sort of a moan to it, but this growl had a bubbling sound. I know it sounds strange, but trust me, it was absolutely terrifying. To make things worse, another noise came from up the hill I mentioned before. Now, the best way to explain this noise was something big saying rot or rock. It was very deep. It reminded me of a gorilla. Then it just growled. It was very low rumble. Now, by the time this had happened, the other noise had stopped, so we were absolutely petrified. We didn't know what was going on. The next thing that happened is possibly one of the scariest things I've ever experienced in my entire life. There was a sudden explosion of twigs and branches breaking, and there was 100% something running around the trees. It was very heavy, and it was very fast. None of us could see anything. Then it happened. It sounded like a dog fight. That's the best way I can explain it. Like a really violent, loud, and disturbing dog fight. It was so loud, it left me, and I jumped to my feet, and I shouted at it. I had 1,000 things going through my mind, and I assumed it was someone playing a really good prank on us. Believe me when I say, when I shouted, "Stop it," as loud as I could, you were barely even able to hear me for the noise it was making. The commotion went on for at least a couple of minutes. It felt like a lifetime. Now, I have no idea how we mustered the courage, but we all ran for it. We left our tents and our bags. Ryan left his mobile phone, and I left my keys, and we literally rolled down the hill to get away and sprinted for the exit. As we were running, we looked back at the fire, and we saw two canine creatures standing bipedally by the fire at our tents. We never went back and got our stuff. We just left it. And I don't plan to, because I'm never going to camp again after seeing what I've seen. These things are also in the United Kingdom, Mike. They're everywhere, it seems. Thank you for sharing my story. I believe they are also. Deborah Hatsfield, she has a lot of encounters. I've spoke to her. She's a very smart lady. And it seems to me like these things are everywhere. Y'all are lucky that you got out of there, and I'm glad you got out of there, and I appreciate you sharing your story with me from the United Kingdom, from across the pond, as many would say. I appreciate you guys so very much, and like I said, you guys are family also. We're all family here on Abnormal, and I really appreciate you sending that in. Again, I'm glad y'all are safe, and sorry you lost your equipment. I know that stuff is expensive, but it is replaceable. Thank you for listening, guys. Until next time, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. And we will see you on the next one.
I can see you from behind. You can hear me in your mind. Run so fast as you can go. Time will catch you before you know. Are you afraid of the dark? Are you scared?